We are in day 42, not 41. For the first time, I missed a video. Here is my reasoning for that. I missed a video because I went back to Bloomington for the first time since I've left and started my entrepreneurial journey. I went down there because I wanted to celebrate the week, celebrate the day. Got a lot of work done, but I wanted to go see my friends, wanted to go watch some football, kind of enjoy myself a little bit. So I was in Bloomington. I didn't have time to make a video, so I wasn't in my main studio or anything like that. So there's a reasoning behind why I actually couldn't make a video. But we're going to change that to where it's not going to happen again. Okay, because I don't plan on making a lot of trips like that. At the same time, it's also important that if that does end up being the case, then I need to plan accordingly and then make sure I post the video earlier in the day. Got my orange juice with me. And this is going to be a longer video. So I want to talk about something that's more generalized. But first, I want to talk about what I did on Friday. I called 11 for sale by owners. I didn't text anybody. I didn't do any texting. I called 11. 3 of them actually answered. The other 8 went to voicemail. So I sent 8 voicemails, called 3 different people. The people I did call were very get away from me, stop calling me, blah, 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 very adversarial. So it was a death march, pretty much. It was pretty brutal to get through. And I was starting to get very frustrated with myself. But Tyler, my coach, the guy that's been helping me all the way through here, amazing guy to work with. He's been motivating me to keep moving. And of course I'm going to keep moving. Because, even though I go through those rejections, even though I go through those really difficult, very uncomfortable conversations, I look at the life that I want to live. And when I see the big why in my life, everything starts to just make more sense to me. And all of it just seems to be worth it in the end. Okay, so I did that. I posted my open house. I'm doing the same home as the ones where I met the buyers the first time, so it's the same house. I did not get my signs that say Sunday 1 to 3, which is a problem. I don't have those. I need to get those or at least borrow them in the meantime. So that's a mistake on my end. What else? Well, that's about it of what I did. I scheduled some follow-up text. I voicemailed the FSBO that I was meeting in Frankfurt, and then I voicemailed the buyer that I was speaking with. So I did voicemail both of them. And I want to talk. My mind has just been so messed up. I want to talk about something, just about what I've been thinking about since I got into Bloomington. Before we go into that, I just want to say I'm extremely tired. Really just felt sick for most of the day. I didn't drink a whole lot last night. It's just I stayed up late, hung out with my friends, and it's kind of going back to what I'm trying to say. I went back to Bloomington, and I don't miss it. I don't miss Bloomington. I miss going to IU. I miss watching the games. But that life, that college life, where I hung out with all my college buddies and we were in school and we went to parties and all that fun stuff, it's just not the same anymore. When I walked to my buddy's apartment before the game, I just felt weird. I was like, I feel like I am a student, but I'm not, though. And so I kind of felt like I was like certified uncle status. But again, I'm sure a lot of alumni feel that way when they just graduate and they're like, oh crap, I feel so old, right? So the game was great. We played Indiana State. We won 73-0. We play Illinois next weekend. I think we're going to smoke them. But with that being said, just the environment, just everything about it, the driving through Bloomington, it just wasn't the life that I wanted to live anymore. And yes, hanging out with friends is awesome, and it's one of my favorite things to do, obviously. truly nothing makes me more satisfied in a day than just going to the office and just working. Like, it's fun for me to work. People ask, why do you work so much? Like, why, like, what if you don't want to keep working? It's like, when you love what you do for work, are you really working? I know it's very cliche. I'm throwing the cliches here within 5.5 minutes into the video, but come on, like, do you blame me? If you love what you do, then it's not work. It's your passion. Technically, you are working, but it won't feel like work. And this is what real estate's all about for me. None of this in the past 42 days has felt like work. Some days it's been harder than others, like literally Friday when I had to call 11 FSBOs. That was not easy. So there's days where things are difficult and very annoying and just kind of like, but you're always going to have those moments. I would rather be waking up at 7 a.m. going to work and then working and grinding and doing my thing than taking a weekend to go see my friends and drink and watch football and blah, blah, because that will come when I build what I'm building right now. Okay? Like, you can't expect to take a bunch of breaks like that and expect to get anywhere. Not to say that I can't, treat myself with a good time. It's just the good time is my work. And this is kind of going into full circle with when I was a self-improvement YouTuber, where it's like, but the hard work is fun. Now, that could be different for a lot of people. Thankfully enough, I found a career that I love, and it's amazing. So again, it's not really something that I really want to sacrifice for the short-term fun of everything. One other thing, I'm going to see if my buddy tried calling me. No. My friend Jack was trying to give me a call, but I didn't see anything. Nope. Okay. So, what are we thinking as far as progress goes? I'm already ahead of most agents. That's already obvious. But do I feel that way? No. Because I'm starting to realize that the goal now for me isn't to just do more than the average agent. My goal is to fulfill my satisfactions on all the hard work I can put in. If I feel like I left something out that I need to really make sure I execute at a higher level, then I'm going to do that. If I feel like there was more left in me, then I'm going to go until I get, through everything, and obviously not burn myself out, but you know what I mean. And with that being said, everything has been so disciplined for me to do that. Like, I've been disciplined every day. And yeah, I might have some gas left in the tank, but ultimately I just kind of save it for the next day, and I've been keeping consistent, which has been great. And obviously, if I put in more effort, it's just going to be the same thing. I just put in more effort. Now, this is really what I want to talk about. When I was in leasing, I worked with Tim, I worked with Mary, okay? I've mentioned them both in my videos in the past, but why am I bringing them up now? Because my entire life, I felt like that there was something wrong with me. I was very mediocre in school in the sense that I didn't even have a 3.0 GPA in college. I wasn't really a great student as far as academics goes. I was just very, I wasn't really anything spectacular. I wasn't really the type of person to where if I went to work, like in my leasing job, that I would do everything perfectly. So when I worked with Mary, she's a year younger than me. Her and I have been working for the company around the same amount of time. And she got promoted and I did not. And one of the reasons being is that she does everything perfectly in the job with leasing. She screens applications, she follows up with the leads on there, she checks the emails, like a lot of detail-oriented stuff. Okay, now we were both comparable in our sales, but what made Mary so much better than me was that she was always focused and very specific on what she did. And she was very compliant with what Tim, the community manager, would be telling us what to do. Now, my issue with the job was that I always felt like I had to find my own way to do something because if I didn't, it wouldn't make sense to me. Okay, so that's when I ended up butting heads with Tim often, with Mary often, because like I would like mess up often, like I'd make mistakes way more than Mary would, and like I just wasn't as passionate about leasing. I mean, she wasn't even either, but it's one of those deals where I just thought, like, if I'm getting into real estate, I mean, is this an indicator of how successful I'm going to be? Would Mary be a better real estate agent than me? And the answer to that is absolutely not, in the sense that doesn't mean I would be a worse real estate agent. Absolutely not. I was worried about that. Now, obviously, I was still good at my leasing job, but Mary just was so much better. And I was nervous about that, about getting into real estate, because there's so much more that goes into it. But here's the bottom line. If you've taken the DISC assessment test, DISC is a lot like the MBTI test, where it's like a personality test. You got D, which is dominance, I, which is influence, S, which is steadiness, and then C, which is conscientiousness. Okay, so dominance is like straight to the point, big picture, big ideas, big goals, big dreams, let's do this. That's dominance. Influence is like more like the extrovert, like, oh, I love people, I love interactions and stuff like that. Steadiness is very much of like a slow down, let's take everything step by step, stick really close to your guns. And then conscientiousness is more detail oriented, like, I got to do it in this certain way. I have to do it like this. Like, what does this mean? Like, for example, if I were in real estate, I might be thinking a lot about conversion rates, about numbers, about, like how to do the best email, doing the funnel, like really like detailed stuff. I am a high D. And that matters because most real estate agents are a high D. And I took the DISC assessment test when I was with my leasing job. And Mary scored high on the C and the S. Now, D and then C are very opposites because D is big picture, C is more detail-oriented. Now, in real estate, you're going to have to do some detail-oriented tasks like reading your contracts properly, meeting your deadlines, doing your lead follow-up, knowing what numbers you're hitting, that stuff. But it's not like how it is with leasing. With leasing, there's a lot more managerial administration, like emailing stuff, like a lot more like office stuff. Real estate, to me, I feel like you get more freedom of being creative. And so now that my business is what I want it to be, I'm performing at a high level because I'm not bound to what people are telling me what to do. And that's the bottom line of this entire thing. I feel unchained in that sense. I'm going to see if Jack texted me again. No. So what's the plan on Sunday? Hosting the open house, putting down the signs, following up with people, making it more of an effort to get people to sign in, I think is going to be ideal. Okay, I just think it's going to be important. Get sleep. I am so tired. But we'll be fine. Told you guys this was going to be a longer video today. I think 14 minutes is a long time for a weekend video. Typically, they're around 5 to 10 minutes. So 14 minutes ain't that bad. We're going to make a longer video again tomorrow. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it should be longer than about 10 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and pick things back up on Monday, and we should be fine. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. See you on Sunday, and take care, guys. See ya.